Hi, it's Chris Watkin here, and I'm back with the next ICG webinar, where in today's 10-minute video, we're going to talk about whether there's really a case for abandoning all those portals and looking at whether Facebook and other social media can offer a realistic alternative. So first, what I'd like to do is go to the estate agent in the room, Ed. Why do you think we as estate agents have become addicted and dependent to the portals? Talk to me.
I don't think it's laziness, Chris. I think there's been a certain amount of the fact that it just produces easy leads. But I think the really telling thing for most estate agents is the fact that, according to Rightmove themselves, the average time for a response is measured in days often rather than minutes. So clearly something needs to change. And I think for estate agents paying money to be on portals, I think the days of the way people look at portals is changing. I think people want more data, they want more communication, they want better integration, and they want more innovation. And I just think that is not being seen at the moment. And you've clearly got some very big, very clever people out there who are looking at all of these questions and integrating them all into one place. My pay grade stops at whether that involves social media or whether it involves being on Facebook and that sort of thing. But certainly with the new generation of portals, you've got Babek down here to talk about One Dome. They're clearly at the forefront of this. And I get very good reports about the sort of levels of business that come through from them. And then you've got, Home Search. You had this massive publicity around Boomin and all this sort of stuff. So I think it's time for the game to move on. But I'd be very, very interested to see what these guys, Babek and Gordon, have got to say about it.
Okay, I mean, is it fair to judge a portal just because it produces leads? Well, surely the portal's there to get the properties in front of the punters, isn't it? Anyone put your hand up? Anything to say? Go for it, Babak.
Yes, that's essentially the portal's main role is to aggregate all the listings together, right? So I think your question was about whether agents can completely abandon portals. And maybe whether they could be completely replaced by Facebook or some alternative marketing channels. I mean, from a lead generation point of view, possibly, but let's always think about the customer here, and our end customer is the home buyer. And from a home buyer's perspective, the biggest added value that portals brought in so far is the fact that all the listings are aggregated in one place. And that's very important from a consumer perspective. So saying that, obviously, I don't believe Facebook standalone could completely replace portals. It can definitely help to generate a lot of leads, absolutely. There's obviously other marketing channels that agents can use to generate leads like PPC, etc. But I still believe there is a need from a customer perspective to a single window where they can see all the properties available for sale. Saying that, obviously, the portal market is about to change and is going through a major change, I think, as an industry. So the days of portals constantly increasing their listing fees I believe, is over. As there's a growing competition, I think I mentioned that many times, competition means lower fees, better quality of service and innovation. So we've seen various pockets of innovation by different players in the challenger portal market. There's definitely now capital also available to portals. Like, we've just raised £5 million in our Series A. Obviously, Boomin, which will be launched later this year, from what I hear, has been well funded. So the market is definitely changing. I think it's very good for overall for consumers and also for estate agents. I will definitely offer them some interesting marketing channels and some free marketing channels going forward.
Great. Now, interestingly, agents see leads as two different things. You've got the buyer and the tenant leads, which is the demand side. Yeah. But then also an awful lot of estate agents think that the job of the portal is to give them the supply leads, which is your landlord and vendors. Yeah. Is that right? Or is it, like you said, the job of the portal is to aggregate all the listings to put them in front of the punters? Should estate agents expect the portals to provide them vendor and landlord leads? Or should they be doing other types of marketing?
Sorry, is that a question for me or?
Anyone, put your hand up if you've got any.
Yeah, if you don't mind, I can I give you my view. Yes, I mean, if you look at the portal product offering so far, to be fair, it's been mainly geared towards buyers and tenants. I mean, if you look at the vendor experience on some of the major portals like Rightmove or Zoopla, it's limited, right? So a vendor, a lot of there's anecdotal stories that the vendor will go to a portal, find the property like theirs, and then look which is the agent, what the agent's selling property similar to them. There isn't a very much geared, well-defined user experience for vendors with the portals. Saying that, about 2 months ago, we've launched a product called Find an Agent, which is taking that experience and turning it to digital. So as a consumer, you would go put your own postcode, and we will show you all the similar properties that are currently for sale around your area and looking like your properties with the same kind of price point. And we'll also show you the agent who are specialized in selling properties like yours. So we're trying to go towards making the vendor journey as streamlined as currently the buyer and tenant journey is on Rightmove and Zoopla.
Okay, but surely the job of the portal, as you say, to put the property in front of the punter, when the average Briton is on Facebook an hour and a half a day, you know, Gordon, you're a specialist in this. Surely, if that's where the eyeballs are, and we put the right property in front of the right person, it could actually get to places that probably even Rightmove can't get to.
Yeah, I agree with Babak. It's changing the way that people are using portals. You asked if can social and stuff offer a realistic alternative. I certainly think a good social media strategy can reduce the reliance on portals. And as you say, that's important to make sure that you're reaching as wide of an audience as you possibly can, because ultimately the people, you know, with their eyeballs on the portals are those that are actively currently searching. But there's a lot of people that could be coming into the pipeline and could be interested in a particular property or service. And if you can get them, the message in front of them at the right time, then you've got a chance to do much more business. And I think that's really key in social strategy.
If you think about it, let's look at Rightmove. They have 165 million visitors a month, but on average, excluding COVID, only 70,000 households sell on probably 80,000 rental properties. So if you think about it, 165 million visitors, and they only sell, in inverted commas, 150,000 what they are selling, which is properties to sell or rent. If that was Amazon, that would be an appalling ratio, wouldn't it? 165 million to 150,000 buying.
How many times do you go on Auto Trader to look at a Porsche 911, Chris? Come on, I mean, you know, it's just about looking at what you might want, isn't it? It's not about necessarily actually buying.
Of course it is, because it's property porn, and people, and I think what estate agents need to think of is that people go there for escapism for the next one. But if we can put those properties in front on their feed when they're looking at their kids or mates on Facebook, I agree with you, Gordon. I don't think it's a replacement, but I think you can certainly reduce the reliance of it.
What you've said is absolutely perfect, Chris, because ultimately when you're on social, you're logged in. So we can understand your digital fingerprint, your likes, your preferences, what you're doing, all of the things that you're interacting with, and that gives us a real clear picture of you. And using probability, we can then serve you, not the Porsche 911, but the property or car that's exactly what you would like to drive, and then you can engage them that way. And you might not currently be looking, but now you're interested, and doing it on that real-time behavior is when you get a much higher conversion rate, like you just talked about.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the old school days in the newspapers when people looked through the local rag and they saw the property of their dreams. They weren't looking. Steve, what have you got something to say? You've always got something sensible.
Well, hopefully. I just think what is very, very relevant is the fact that is what's come up twice in the last couple of minutes is the reliance on the portals is going to become less and less over the years with the offerings that are out there through both One Dome and CCT and all the various other options out there. I think the agents are now in a really, really good position where they can start to look at how they can be more efficient, look at what the different options are. I think there's two things from an agent's point of view. One is knowledge and one is fear. Okay, knowledge, you need to know what the options and alternatives are that are out there before you abandon anything. You're not going to abandon, you can't abandon the portals. But the fear is with the agents, the problem they've got is, right, okay, how are the competition going to use that? How are they going to use the competition? How are the competition going to use that against us if we don't have Rightmove and we don't have Zoopla?
It's all about planning, making sure that you've got the right alternative, and you'll be fine. So I just want to say thanks very much to everyone on this one, and we'll see you on the next ICG webinar where we'll be talking about more interesting things about estate agency. So say goodbye, everyone.
Bye.